Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Angela Dryden here, certified life coach. I talk a lot about that I coach ladies who are struggling with codependency behaviors. And what I do is I help them transform those into leading lady behaviors. What I'm really doing is I'm showing them how to let go so they can just love. So showing how to let go of expectations, how to let go of guilt, how to let go of being right, how to let go of control. So I show them how they can let go of those things so that they can show up with just pure intent, just love, peace, and calm. So that's what I do. That's just the basic thing of what I do as a coach. So I want to talk today about one of the codependent behavior that we might have as a codependent. And one of the things I like to talk about is exchanging them for a leading lady behavior. So a behavior that we want to have and how we want to show up in our world. And if you are interested and you like the content that I share today, make sure to subscribe to my site, to my YouTube channel. And you can also find me on my different platforms with action and then the number 2 awareness, which is another way that you can find me through Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Pinterest. So if you want to follow me those ways, you can as well. And you can also come and join my group. I have a private Facebook group called Codependent to Leading Lady. And so this video will show up in that group every week as well. And then we also have other content and information that comes throughout that group. So if you are looking for even more resources and value and information, that if this stuff that I talk about is helpful to you and you're finding that you can utilize this in your life, if you want more, come on over there to us and join us with in our Facebook group for Codependent to Leading Lady. All right, so let's get to this topic today. So this topic about complying to decisiveness. So complying is that codependent behavior, and we want to exchange that to decide so that we show up and we are decisive about what we want. That's kind of a big jump, right? And one thing I'm going to share is that fear. And this is kind of a fun thing. This was Brian, I can't remember his name. Anyways, a coach, a motivational kind of type coach. His kind of abbreviation or acronym, sorry, that's the word, acronym of FEAR, false evidence appearing real. I always liked that. So, sorry, Brian Tracy's his name. And so false evidence appearing real. So we want to talk a little bit about that, which is kind of keeping us at bay, keeping us in complying mode instead of getting down to decisive mode can be that fear that we're experiencing. And so in my blog, I talked a little bit about this for this week. And if you want to read the blog, again, you go down to the notes on my YouTube channel and you'll be able to find that there, a link to the blog. And one of the things I talked about in this blog was about the concept of when we're a child and we're playing hide and seek. So as the person that's hiding in hide and seek, we kind of get anxious and we have a little bit of anxiety because we don't know when they're going to find us. And your heartbeats start racing and you just feel almost even overwhelmed because you're so anxious. You don't know when it's going to happen. It's like a sense of excitement, but at the same time, it's a scared excitement. So it goes into that anxious category. And so when we comply in any relationships, so when people are asking us about our opinion or what we think about things, or if we have a suggestion that we'd like to make, and instead of actually giving what we think, and we just comply because we don't want to, rock the boat. We don't want to cause any problems. We just want to be easygoing. So we comply. When we're doing that, it is actually a form of hiding that we might be doing. Because if we comply and we hide, we are allowing the other person to make the decision. And if the decision is not what we like, then we can blame them. We don't have to blame ourselves. And so complying can be a form of hiding, and hiding in the way that we don't want to fail. We don't want to be at fault. We'd much rather see them fail. And then we can say, well, you did this wrong. We can even criticize it because we didn't give any input. And I want to just step back a little bit and have you just kind of process and think about that. How many times maybe we might have complied, not knowing that we actually were complying because we were afraid that we might get it wrong, but complying because we think that's just being kind, or we think that's just a way of just getting along. Maybe we even think that our information or what we have isn't as valid as what they have. And so we comply with that. And by doing that, really kind of exploring that and thinking, well, when I do that, I'm hiding, and I am hiding because I don't want to get it wrong. And that is based on fear, just like I was talking about, right? False evidence appearing real. And when you come from a place that it's based on fear, you can get really trapped into that cycle. So you just continually comply. And then another thing that might start to happen when it comes to a codependent behavior of complying is that, let's say they do something, they make the choice, and we just say, oh, sure, whatever you want to do. And we don't like it. We didn't enjoy it. We complain about it, in fact. Or we say, you know, oh, I would have done it differently. But yet we never gave our input on that because we just complied. And I know there's kind of a saying out there, right? If you didn't contribute, then don't complain about it, kind of thing. I know we've even said that to kids before, right? To our children. If you're not going to give us input on something and we do this, don't get mad at us. It's something that you don't like. And so what I want to have you explore for yourself is kind of looking at that and questioning, why is it that I think my opinion or what I have to say isn't valid? It maybe isn't valuable, or why am I choosing to hide because I don't want to get it wrong, because I'm thinking it's going to get wrong. So a lot of times when we think about things being wrong, we don't even know what the right way to do it is, or we might have a concept of what we think is the right way to do something, and really it's just a thought that we have about how it should turn out. But we can visualize things and we can think about things and have an idea of how that should turn out. And what's really happening is that we are just exploring that concept. I mean, we can make up some pretty imaginative things. If you look at writers, and when they can write these amazing stories of things that didn't even exist until they imagined it, and then they put it on paper and we read it. So thinking about us, we have that capacity as well. And we might think that it should have turned out this way. But then when we comply, we're again hiding how we really feel, and we're not putting ourselves out there because we're afraid of getting it wrong. So in order to transition or transform or replace, however you want to look at it, that behavior and start going into decide, you have to start making decisions. You have to start speaking up. You have to start saying things. And sometimes I want to offer to you that sometimes the beginning part of it is not that you start to give input, but that you actually just becoming aware of the fact that you're not giving input. And then figuring out for yourself why you're not giving input. What's the worst thing that could happen? If I do give input and it's wrong, what's really the worst that can happen? And just kind of going into that place so that you can really explore that for yourself and just dive in it as much as you need to until you can see that the worst that could happen, again, is false evidence appearing real, right? So it's that FEAR acronym. And when we start to really look at that and go, well, I guess it'd be fine if I gave my opinion about this, or if I decided or said I would like to do this instead, there's really nothing wrong with doing that. And when we start to decide, like I said, maybe the first step is just being aware that we have the option to make a choice, to decide to say something. And then when we start to open up and we're open to it and we start to explore that more, it becomes more of that habit. And then we show up with that behavior, right? Because the behavior doesn't just switch out, because a behavior is a habit that's been repeated over time and time again. And now it's become a behavior. So when we are someone that always complies, that's a behavior that's over time. And giving yourself that grace and going, wait a minute, that's right. It's taken me a long time to get here, and I've complied for a long time. It's going to take me a little bit of time to get to the other part, to start being decisive. But just the beginning part of making those small, simple shifts. So like in this blog that I wrote, I talked about being the hider for hide and seek. So you're hiding. And then there's the person that's seeking, right? There's the seeker in hide and seek. They're trying to find. And the energy of being a seeker is so different than the energy of being a hider. Hider's kind of like, oh, I don't know, I don't want them to find me, you know, and you're just trying to be quiet. You're not saying anything. And then there's the seeker out there going, okay, where are you? You know, they're making decisions. They're looking underneath the beds. They're making a point. They're trying to find something. They're not afraid of finding you not there. Right? They look under the bed, not because they're going to get it wrong, because they're trying to find you. They don't know if you're there or not, and they wouldn't know until they looked. And so when you show up as a seeker and you're looking, you're opened, you're out in the open, you're exposed, and you're okay with it because you are wanting to find something. There is something that's at the end of it. And when you're done finding, right, then you get a hide. Usually that's kind of how that works. But it's fascinating to think that a lot of times, I remember when I was younger, a lot of times I wanted to be the hider. I wanted to hide in them to find me. But the emotion and the angst that my body was getting from hiding, you know, at that young age was kind of exhilarating. But as we get older and we're hiding and we're having that anxiety, it's not as exhilarating anymore because we've done it for so long over time. And it's almost like we feel like we're stuck. We're stuck hiding. We're never going to not be hiding anymore. And so I want to offer that you can now become the seeker if you want to be. You can start transforming from complying and going to deciding and saying, okay, fear, okay, if I get this wrong, I'm okay if I get this wrong. I don't want to be the person that just complies because I don't want to get it wrong. Or if I comply and they get it wrong, then I can just complain to them that they got it wrong. I want to go out there and decide and be open to getting it wrong. And I want to keep on seeking. And then if I don't find the person right underneath the bed, I'm going to look in the closet. If I don't find them in the closet, I'm going to look underneath the sink. If I don't find them, I'm going to look in the bathtub, because I'm not going to stop until I find them, which could be the same thing with making a decision and deciding. Deciding means that I'm going to take that step to look. I'm going to find it and seek for it instead of just hiding. So this is what I want to offer to you, is that when it comes to complying, to maybe explore why it is that you want to hide from complying. Like I said, we might think that we're just being kind about it, or we're just being agreeable. Again, agreeable being one of those people-pleasing behaviors. And we're just doing that based on, we think that that's the right thing to do, or that's the kind thing to do. And that we might have an input that we can bring to the table, and that our opinion is valuable. And that if somebody's asking for us to give input, that there's nothing wrong with giving input. In fact, they're asking us for input. We should probably give input. And then that makes it more of a relationship type thing, right? It's that give and take, that information back and forth, that communication, that openness, that being willing to get this wrong. When we start to communicate that way, we start to see more of who we are, and we can correct who we are, and we can show up differently if we want to by doing that. But if we stay hidden, we're never going to be able to get the opportunity to grow. So when it comes to complying and deciding, realize that fear is that in-between factor. Fear is the one that's keeping us from deciding, and it's keeping us hiding and in complying. I want to offer this information to you. I hope you find value here. I love being able to share this information with you, and please, do what you can to incorporate it into your life. And again, if you would like to know more information, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel here. And then also, if you want to find me on Facebook in our private group that we have, Codependent to Leading Lady, we'd love to have you join us. And if you want to go even deeper, if you really want to be specific of what it is that you want to be doing and how you want to be showing up in your world, I'm the coach for you. I'd love to be able to do a discovery coach call and see how I can best help you and kind of get you that clarity that you might be looking for, so we can get you on your way to transforming these codependent behaviors into leading lady behaviors. Thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next week and next time. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.